What if I told you the first world has become the new third world, and the so-called third world is starting to look like paradise? For decades, the United States, Canada, and Western Europe were presented as the peak of human achievement. Gleaming cities, endless opportunity, safe neighborhoods where the future felt secure. But in 2025, the mask is slipping. Beneath the polished image, the first world is decaying from within, while many of the very places we were told to fear are offering something surprising, a chance at stability, dignity, and freedom. Look around. In America, families pay thousands each month for apartments in cities riddled with crime and homelessness. In Canada, 2 full-time incomes barely stretch to cover groceries. In Europe, people spend half their paychecks on cramped flats. Meanwhile, in countries dismissed as developing, expats are living like royalty. Fresh fruit daily, private doctors, safe neighborhoods, and homes with space to breathe, all at a fraction of the cost. The question writes itself: was the first world dream ever about prosperity for the people, or was it always a carefully packaged illusion? The truth is impossible to ignore. First world nations aren't designed to serve citizens anymore. They're designed to serve corporations and the elites who own them. Food, housing, healthcare, transportation. Every basic need is rigged. In the US, a grocery run feels like robbery. In Canada, home ownership is slipping out of reach for nearly everyone under 40. In Europe, energy bills eat away savings. And while citizens struggle, governments lecture them about being fortunate to live there. Fortunate? To drown in debt, pay inflated prices for collapsing services, and watch opportunity shrink each year? Meanwhile, countries like Mexico, Thailand, and Costa Rica quietly offer not just affordability, but something rarer: dignity. Why is the first world collapsing? Because the system is designed that way. The elites don't want stable middle classes. They want dependence. Inflate housing until no one can own, inflate food until every paycheck feels short, inflate healthcare until a minor emergency wipes out savings. Keep people working endlessly just to survive, and you create the perfect population. Exhausted, compliant, too tired to resist. This isn't incompetence, it's control. At the same time, the narrative machine smears the rest of the world as unsafe, unstable, and hopeless. But outside that propaganda, a different reality emerges. In much of Latin America and Asia, families own homes outright. Food comes fresh from farms and markets. Communities are close-knit. Many expats document this shift, showing that life abroad can be freer, healthier, and even safer than life in US or Canadian cities plagued by homelessness and violence. Of course, the media hides this truth. They highlight every story of corruption abroad while ignoring their own backyard. Mexico is dangerous, yet Los Angeles has daily shootings. Thailand has instability, yet Europe faces protests, shortages, and unrest. They cherry-pick fear while millions of Westerners quietly realize they can no longer afford rent or food. The trick is simple: keep you convinced you're better off trapped in your collapsing home country. But the illusion is crumbling. People are asking, what's the point of living in world-leading nations if you can't afford to live? What's the point of so-called safety nets that vanish when you need them? What's the point of voting for change if every election leaves you poor? This is why emigration is spiking. More and more Americans, Canadians, and Europeans are leaving, realizing the first world has turned into a gilded prison. Why are costs so unbearable? Because scarcity is engineered. Canada has endless land, yet houses cost millions. America produces vast amounts of food, yet millions go hungry. Europe has energy capacity, yet ordinary people freeze in winter. The truth, it's not shortage, it's manipulation. By limiting access and inflating prices, corporations profit while governments deflect blame on immigrants, climate, or bad luck. Anything but the real reason. Meanwhile, the so-called third world is quietly rising. Infrastructure improves, technology spreads, local economies grow. No country is flawless, but many now offer what the first world has lost: hope. Hope that a paycheck covers life's needs. Hope that children can grow up without drowning in debt. Hope that communities matter. That hope is sparking a quiet revolution, not in the streets, but in airports, with one-way tickets stamped departure. And here's the irony. The same governments preaching about progress are led by elites who already know the truth. Billionaires buy property in New Zealand. Politicians retreat to villas in Mexico. CEOs stash fortunes offshore and plan lives abroad. They know the system they build is unsustainable. While you're told to cut back, save less, and accept scarcity, they prepare their escape routes. So why do we still call the US, Canada, and Europe the first world? Because they mastered the illusion of freedom. But the cracks are everywhere. Tent cities on sidewalks, collapsing hospitals, endless wars, declining life expectancy. Meanwhile, the third world offers cleaner air, fresher food, and more value for your effort. The labels don't fit anymore. You've been told you're lucky. But lucky compared to what? Compared to countries where housing, food, and healthcare are affordable? Lucky to fund endless wars while your own streets crumble? That story worked for decades, but today the gap between narrative and reality is too wide to ignore. So ask yourself, why pay first world prices for third world conditions when you could pay third world prices for first world quality of life? Why stay trapped when the door is already open? The elites fear this question because once people see their escape, the illusion collapses. What if the real conspiracy is this? The first world is finished and the dream has already moved elsewhere. You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in our description and join our underground newsletter.